Has anybody heard of this guy named Steph Curry? I mean, dude, does anybody know who he is? Apparently played at some kind of mid-major school and did really good there, and I guess got his team to the Final Four as like a 10 seed or something like that. And supposedly he's been to the NBA Finals before and won championships. I don't know who the hell is Steph Curry. You know, in a previous segment, one of the things I said about Steph Curry that I felt should have happened in Game 3 tonight was a little bit more reliance on the rest of his team. When you have seasoned guys, Draymond Green can give you a triple-double. Andre Iguodala, let's call it game-ending shot, not game-winning shot. We'll call it game-ending shot because it put the Raptors away in Game 2. He's been there before. Shaun Livingston has been there before. Steph Curry's been there before. I mean, you still have 4 phenomenal basketball players. I think you've got to rely a little bit more on the rest of your team. Having said that, Steph Curry is far and away one of the most remarkable talents that we've ever seen in the NBA. When you think about some of the shots that he makes game in and game out, right? I mean, even tonight in Game 3, we're talking corner shots, somebody breathing down his neck right on top of him, and Steph Curry on his back foot, off balance, literally nothing but net. And we're so used to it, right? We're so used to seeing this that we've actually become numb to how good Steph Curry really is. And it almost seems like a circus act, you know? I mean, you're like, what in the hell is this guy doing sometimes? But we've come to trust it from Steph Curry. We've come to trust a shot that you wouldn't want, let's call it 90% of any other, 90% of the other players in the NBA to take. You go, why the hell are you doing that? With Steph Curry, we watch it and we almost expect it to go in no matter what. That's how used to it we are. And we really shouldn't be. And I know that in a day and age, a modern age where highlights are all over the place and you can see any given moment, a breakdown of any given athlete's play, and Steph Curry has definitely been one of the most publicized athletes in all the professional sports, period. I mean, we're talking, he's up there obviously with guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, obviously MVP season, doing just crazy things, right? The behind-the-back pass, throwing with his left arm. I mean, he's in that caliber, and he's been in that caliber, and he deserves every bit of it. But I think sometimes there's so much out there that we sort of begin to get drowned in it, and we begin to lose how great of a player Steph Curry truly is. And even given my statement earlier, because and understand why I say it, because I think it is disrespectful to downplay how good Draymond Green is and Andre Iguodala is and Shaun Livingston is, what a defensive asset a Bogut is. DeMarcus Cousins didn't have the greatest game, but for me, when I look at Steph Curry, I mean, I literally see a guy that I think if he absolutely needed to at any given moment, he could take over any team, anytime, anywhere, and put him on his back. And that's exactly what he did tonight. And he played all but, I think, 5.5 minutes in that game because they finally pulled him with about 1:37 or somewhere in that neighborhood left. But you look at how gassed and how tired he was still diving for basketballs. He still won the jump ball there towards the end of the game. And that was when he was very visibly on his knees, panting and breathing. He was dead, man. I mean, he was floating barely in water, and yet somehow, when it was all said and done, he was still able to swim. I mean, you want to talk about a guy out there on an island making things happen. And the thing about it is when all is said and done, a lot of people I think are going to look and go 14 out of 31, which, believe me when I tell you, is not phenomenal, especially at the NBA level. But given what he felt he had to do tonight, and that was lead this basketball team, imagine being a Steph Curry and having all the pressure of the world on you. You've got a lot of people saying, and even after the game, during the game, people were saying this was no surprise. The Raptors did what they were expected to do. No Kevin Durant, no Klay Thompson. They're expected to win this basketball game. Can you imagine being Steph Curry and hearing that? Hearing, oh, really? You think you're just supposed to walk into my town and my arena on my court and beat me and my team? You think that's what you're supposed to do because I'm missing a couple of guys. Steph's not out there making excuses. That's one of the best parts about this. He leads by absolute example. And Klay Thompson said in an interview recently that he's the type of guy that you want to play for and you don't want to let him down, and how much he respected him. Of course, I'm paraphrasing there, but I mean, what more do you need? What more do you need to know about a guy than hearing that statement? Steph Curry, when we look back on his career, it's not going to be about being a larger-in-life basketball player. It's not going to be, oh, he was only 6'3" in a time when guys, were 3 or 4 inches taller than him playing guard, when guys that were 6'10" were suddenly shooting from the outside. It's not going to be about anything other than his leadership on and off the basketball court, and that's what it should be, and his direct play. Not he plays larger than life. That shouldn't be the case. He plays the game of basketball at the absolute highest level, which is what you're supposed to do when you're, first of all, in the NBA, and then you're in these situations. And I think Steph may have taken it a little personally. And I think that's why we saw some of the performance tonight that we did from him. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the next game is going to go on Friday. Game 4 is going to be a huge game for both teams. Ultimately, the Raptors, regardless of Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, I still see a lot of the same things right now from them that I've been seeing that I don't like. Some of the sloppy play, both teams really trying to get up and down the court very early in that game. I'm not necessarily sure why. But I did see a lot more leadership and a lot better play from Kawhi Leonard, especially in the second half of that basketball game when they really needed him. That's what this game is going to boil down to. Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, and again, the coaching. Because, again, and I point this out for a reason, in the first half, the bench from the Warriors definitely outplayed the bench from the Raptors. In the second half, it was the complete different, or it was the opposite. And I think a lot of that had to do with coaching and effort plays. But Steph Curry, as good as he played tonight, I think he's going to look back and say, there may have been some shots that I rushed. There may have been times when I really didn't trust my guys. But even then, Steph Curry, fearless, going inside, laying it up, getting rebounds, willing to take contact, diving for basketballs. I mean, what else does he need to do when all is said and done? Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. And, of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook and Instagram as well. When you share this post, don't forget to use the hashtag Don't You Dare Touch That Dial. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.